did the programme at Olivier, and I met him. I asked him to do it at this dinner, which I'd given for. I'd done a programme at Walton, and the 12 people invited to this dinner. And I was waiting for the 12 to be completed. 11 of us were there. And I thought, well, we can't really start because Olivier hadn't turned up. And I was wandering around this room looking at everybody and saying, it's going to be all right. And I eventually noticed the third time, this is true. There was this chap in the corner, all hunched up, dandruffy, with his hair all over the place. And I looked again, and it was Olivier. I'd never seen anybody as shriveled. And we sat down to dinner, and he was terribly ill at that time.
Yeah,
he went up and down with his own cancer. And he sat there at dinner. And then after dinner, people started telling stories. And it was a dinner for his friend, Walton, the composer. And he suddenly decided to perform, and he just went... And the whole room went right back to the wall. And he told stories for about 40 minutes about Orson Welles, Vin Lee, working Hollywood, and then he wanted to go home. And that was it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Others too, Richard Burton. I mean, you've written a book about Richard Burton called Rich, which did very well. What was he like?
Well, he seems to have been one of the most extraordinary people that anybody's come across, Burton, because you've got this just miraculous talent. I mean, this boy who was what we nowadays would call almost a juvenile delinquent when he was 14. He was the 13th child of a mining family. His father died, his mother died when he was 1 or 2 years old, and so on and so forth. And he just made this jump from having left school, and about a year later he was fully formed as a great actor, as a great reader of poetry. He could have been a great sportsman. He was supposed to be a very fine rugby player. So you're dealing with something almost mysterious about him. There's a part of Burton that was there was the devil in Burton all the time.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. You know, men and women felt that. I'm not talking sexually, not only sexually. I mean, he just had this transforming power. And then when I discovered, when I was writing about him, these great tea chests full of notebooks that nobody had ever read, they were amazing. What was equally amazing was something I couldn't print, were Elizabeth Taylor's replies to him.
Oh,
written in her extremely nice handwriting, and they were very sharp and very pithy. And of course I wrote to her and said, could I use them? And of course she wrote back and said, certainly not.
Absolutely not. You're attracted to these great figures, aren't you? I mean, you're attracted to a certain type of powerful person. May they be actors, may they be playwrights.
Well, it's part of the way we do the programme we do. You don't have many shots at it with an arts programme. We have about 20, 25 a year. And again, on this medium, which reaches so many people, what you want to try to do is to bring people the best people alive in the world.
Yes, I mean, you would have got a little stick sometimes, for instance, on the programme you did about George Michael. People who have said, which I think is ridiculous, people say that it's down market. No, it's not. Do you ever listen to that kind of talk?
Well, I mean, you're getting a lot of stick at the moment. I mean, I don't know anybody who gets a lot of stick who isn't in some way affected by it. You'd be kind of mad if you weren't. You'd be an elephant hided, and none of us is elephant hided. So it isn't good to get stick. The business of George Michael being down market, I've never believed that. When I started doing the South Bank show, I did Von Karajan and Paul McCartney. The point was to do people who are very good at what they do. And actually Potter was in the second South Bank show I ever did. Nobody did television playwrights in those days. To be a playwright, you had to do it on the stage. So I think that we've gone for high definition comics like Billy Connolly, as well as high definition writers, high definition comics. And that's what we're trying to do.
That's why so many people watch it. Well, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get people to watch the programme, to see your programme.
Yeah.
Now, what about you? Are you a happy man?
I was hoping we'd keep off that subject.
You've written 20 books.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as an artist, as a writer who is a television presenter, or the other way about?
I see myself as a very lucky guy, actually. I mean, I'm the only person in my family that's done the job he wanted to do. My parents, my uncles, all had to do jobs they had to do. They were forced to do. And I had the luck because of Acts of Parliament in the 40s, of going to schools and universities where I had a chance to choose. So I've just been very, very lucky. And that's what I always feel about my work, that I've had the chance to do what I want to do, which so few people have. And someday I keep thinking, there's that Wigton policeman back in Cumberland, just across the water, where I was a big policeman out there, going to tap me on the shoulder and say, time's up, do a real job.